I got it right this morning. I didn't do it fast enough, but I got it right this morning. Boogie with the bowl. Red, Friday morning caffeine. And red is remember everyone deployed in the United States military, all branches, in the ICE, in the National Guard, which is part of the United States military, so is ICE technically, and first responders on the state, county, local level. You're included too. And if you're a family member of one of the above, you're included too. If you're a veteran of all those listed above, you are included too. And I have to say it this way because I feel like saying it this way this morning. If you are a security officer, you are, depending on who you talk to, considered law enforcement. Well, some people don't consider them part of law enforcement, and some people in law enforcement and some people out of law enforcement consider them to be part of law enforcement because that's basically what they do. Anyway, Randy Rhodes is with me this morning as usual. He is our news director and reads through his 17,427 monitors on his desk looking for things to do. It reminds me of Rip and Read news days in radio where we used to go to the AP teletype and just snag it off and look for what we wanted to read. And that's what we did. So anyway, Randy, what do you got this morning?
One thing I liked about the old days, and that's why I love watching old movies, is when the news comes across the press to be read, you had that, and they run it over to us. I kind of missed that. Now, I thought it'd be a little bit different for Red Shirt Friday, and that is to pick one military force to talk about. Not saying that all the rest are not important, because they all are, because
They all are.
All the forces together makes for a massive military organization that gets the job done. But one that I want to talk about today is Space Force. And the reason why is, I've been very, and in case you were wondering what that facial was, my wife brought me coffee and it was piping hot. So I'm going to let it cool down. But with my concern, desire, my childhood, wow kind of thing is what's going on in the space today. I think I backed off of the 3XI being the spaceship. Unfortunately, I think they finally proven that no, that's just a person's dream, but it is an asteroid. But the other things that we have are the true blue flying saucers.
Yep.
There's a movie that came out. It's called Disclosure something. Oh, I forget what it's called, but it's $29 if you want to buy it through Prime Video or rent it. But it has an hour and a half, and it's has all these videos. It has experts. It has politicians. It has military people talking about the alien life outside of our planet is real. And yes, they are coming to visit us. Yes, they've crashed their ships. Yes, we've encountered them in space. Yes, we shot some down. They never say if we got shot down, just that we shot some down. I can't imagine their weapons would not be able to take us down. So Space Force is a dream of Trump's. He created it because he sees that the war won't just take place here on the surface of the planet, but also it's capable of being, in space. Not necessarily us being invaded, but the fact that like Russia and China, they have their satellites like we do in space, orbiting our planet, looking down on our country with missiles attached to them and other kinds of weapons that they can shoot from space, and it's be very difficult for them to get shot down. So we have our own array of shit in space that's going to be used for knocking them out, as well as attacking our enemies down on the planet, plus as well as should we get attacked, I guess they'll do their job there as well. So I picked out three things I wanted to show. It's not copyright protected. Um, Ronald, Ronald,
Don't be alarmed about that. I sent that to you out of fun,
yeah.
really, this morning because last night Michael Anthony was not available. I can't say the word this morning, but Michael Anthony at the last minute could not do the show. He sounded
availability
upset about it, but he got a 45-minute update on one of his computers, and he was unable to join me. And 45 minutes later, I thought I would have been asleep anyway, but I had a bunch of crap I had to do. But go ahead.
There was this one movie, you might remember the name of it, but back in the day, it was about a teenager and his friends, and a teenager's father was in the Air Force, and he was taken captive by like an Iraqi kind of regime, and the kid was trained by another pilot how to fly our fighter planes, and this kid flew the plane and went into combat against the Iraqi type kind of people. But in that movie, the friends were arguing back and forth. I have a point here that the friends were arguing back and forth about why haven't we done anything to get back his father? And the one friend said, "Well, we have Ray Gun in the White House, and he'll make sure he gets free." So Ray Gun, and with that, I'm going to show this video clip.
Okay, hold on. I have to adjust myself. Okay, I have to do that and do that because modern technology.
Yeah, pushing those buttons is really sophisticated.
America's future will be determined by your dreams and your visions. And nowhere is this more true than America's next frontier, the vast frontier of space. The space age is barely a quarter of a century old, but already we've pushed civilization forward with our advances in science and technology. Our work on the space shuttle gives us routine access to the landscape above us, dropping off payloads, performing experiments, and fixing satellites. And I believe we've only touched the edge of possibilities in space. It's time to quicken our pace and reach out to new opportunities.
Okay, so even back in the day, Ronald Reagan knew that we had to do something about the space warfare. Yes. So here's the next thing.
Whoops, wait a minute. Let me go on to the next thing.
Vast silence of space. A new battlefield is taking shape. Orbit by orbit, signal by signal, the United States is forging the weapons of tomorrow. From laser weapons like the Thor system, to signal disruptors like CCS Block 10.2. From kinetic interceptors to orbital defense shields, this is a new kind of war, without borders, without warning, and without room for error. These are the top 5 latest weapons and capabilities of the US Space Force. You're watching Calls. Number 1, Counter Communication System, CCS Block 10.2. Organization, US Space Force, Space Delta III. The first shot in space may never be seen or heard. That's the logic behind the Counter Communication System, or CCS. Deployed in its latest configuration, Block 10.2, CCS is a mobile ground-based weapon that targets one of the most vital military assets, satellite communications. With upgraded electronic attack modules and advanced waveform libraries, CCS can jam, deny, or spoof enemy SATCOM channels across a range of frequencies. These systems are operated by Space Delta III, the unit responsible for electromagnetic warfare under US Space Operations Command. In a conflict, CCS could disable an adversary's command and control satellites without even crossing a national border. It's fast, adaptable, and very much operational. Number 2, directed energy weapons. Developers,
I'll stop the
AFRL,
video after this one.
USSF, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. Light travels faster than bullets. That's the promise of directed energy, and the Space Force is leaning into it with programs like Thor and Raven. Thor, the tactical high-power microwave operational responder, is engineered to neutralize drone swarms and satellite electronics using bursts of microwave radiation. The Raven system focuses on high-energy lasers designed to dazzle or degrade enemy satellite sensors. These could be mounted on ground-based platforms or future orbital payloads. Together, they represent a class of non-kinetic weapons that can disable hardware without explosive force, minimizing orbital debris. Supporting systems like Silent Barker enable advanced surveillance and queuing for these weapons. With these systems, the next space attack may leave no trace, except for the silence that followed. Number 3, bounty hunter.
So there's like 7 weapon systems available that we know of, that we are being told of by Space Force, and we need it. I mean, look at right now, the war in Ukraine and Russia are primarily by remote controls, like a video game, and it helps cut down on the loss on the ground as far as troops and equipment. Well, I was going to say equipment, because equipment's being blown up like crazy by the drones, but at least a cutback on the loss of infantry. Okay.
Yep.
But and so these weapons are, like he said, that one was able to take out a whole drone, a whole swarm of drones at one time, and that's what we need. We need sophistication,
Yeah.
and the thing of this too is that. According to what I've been seeing from the different newsreels, is that some of the technology that we're using today supposedly is coming from the spaceships that are crashing and are being shot down. And I have a friend who is very much into the whole alien Space Force kind of thing. And, I've asked him the question, how can a ship traveling millions of miles, from its home world just come here to crash, and his response back was, perhaps this is their way of giving us access to their technology so we can build our own technology up. And that sounds pretty feasible. So, folks, if you know anyone that's in the military or has been in the military, give them love, give them hugs, give them kisses. Don't ask about, especially if you knew they were in combat. Don't ask about their experiences. They may not want to talk to you about them. Wives, moms, kids, if you walk into a room and you see your dad who was in combat, like the war in Afghanistan and so forth, and he's just sitting there like inside himself, check on him.
Yeah,
bring him back, because he's probably reliving where he was. And that's very important. Suicide among veterans is very high.
It is very high, but they may actually welcome the thought of being brought back and given an opportunity through being respected to talk about whatever it was. Because, suicide is final. It's not really the answer. It's just an end, a means to an end. And I hope that anyone who is listening does not flip the final switch somehow. I couldn't do it because I've convinced myself that lots of people would be upset that they didn't get the last word with me. So, I might as well just stay here and let them have the last word, because they already know that I'm not going to my own funeral. I'm just not going, period.
I like that.
I already know what the plans are, and I'm just not going.
I saw this video, and it's a real video, but it was meant to be comical, where this guy was Irish or Scottish, something like that, maybe Welsh, but he was buried, and one of his last wishes for his burial was for this recorder to be placed in the coffin with him. And I'm assuming you may have seen it. So they're standing there. The dirt hasn't been heaped onto the coffin yet, and the video starts to play, and it starts off with like you hear this knocking on what's supposed to be the top of the coffin lid. Hey, you out there? Hey, let me out, And it goes on for like 3 or 4 minutes, and the people are just laughing their heads off because they know he's dead, but he had to have the last laugh, and it helps to take away, the obvious sadness of losing a loved one, and they walk away with a smile on their face. I thought that was pretty cool.
It's even the fear of they throw all the dirt in, they cover me up with the cement slab, and then you wake up. And at that point, you're basically going to suffocate and die because you're in an airlocked box and you can't get any more. So, I mean, you just accept that you're going to die, and that's the way it is. But I don't want to live that dream, and I just don't want to feel it because I just don't want to feel it.
Yeah.
Maybe again, the Lord has to do to make me understand that I'm dead, but I'm having too much fun.
And again, there's a lot to be said for those who believe in a couple of things. This is kind of a gruesome conversation, but I'll end it with this.
Okay.
For those of you like my, and I've said this before on your show several times about my father, my mother, when they passed away. Is death really the end of what we know of our lives? Is there something beyond death? Well, if you believe in God or whoever you believe in, there is, because when you die, you go to heaven or nirvana, whatever you want to call the next step upwards, or perhaps downwards. In the case of my brother, who experienced hell. And then there's.
Does that mean he got to go to heaven now?
Well, if he got himself turned around, when
okay.
he suffered multiple. He had a 4-way heart bypass, and he was in a coma for a long time because every time they brought him out from anesthesia, he died. I mean, he actually flatlined. So he was in a coma for 30 or so many days, and they finally brought him out. And the first thing he said to us, looking at him, is that he felt himself falling down in the tunnel, and from all the sides were all these hands and gruesome faces coming at him. And I said, Mike, you experienced hell, okay? And you got to get yourself turned around. I hope he did. It's not a question. You ask your family members, but I hope he did from that personal experience. But there are other things where you have where your spirit, because according to the Bible and whatever else, there's a spirit living inside of you, and when you die, it gets released. So some of the videos I've been seeing, and some of them are obviously made up. Some have all the appearance of being authentic, is that you get stuck here, for whatever reason, and you have what's called the spirits, the ghosts, whatever. I mean, look at. I still am going to do a show about the ghosts in Gettysburg battlefield, where people see these soldiers still going through the motions of being in battle, and it's a well-known fact. Even Russia has done their experiments and so forth with life after death, and apparently, there's this documentary that they did where they injected this chemical inside this person's body. That's traceable by their equipment, and when he died, they could trace that chemical element out into space. So who knows?
Well, they used to say that when you passed away, you lose some weight. This thing, my father used to call it, it's just a vessel to carry you while you're here. And the funny thing about it is I've never understood why you need to do that. If one big blob of energy and we're just here to do what we're told to do, then why do we need to go through the formality of having a body.
Yeah.
I mean, just come here, do it. Break off from the big blob, go do it, and then come back.
Well, there are some people who believe that there are alien creatures who are like that, like an ethereal spirit kind of thing. But I mean, Elon Musk and others like him have been experimenting with and creating these damn androids and robots that look so damn human. It wouldn't surprise me if they're able to grow, and I know they do to some degree, grow human body parts in the lab. So, like for those, for example, like those who have serious burns, they have the skin that they grow in the lab, and they put on where the burns are, and it attaches to the arm or whatever, and it actually grows, and you can't tell.
I heard even one weirder yesterday. One person was predicting that you will be able to recreate through an android that will in fact have your child. And I don't know how that works, because the android would have to carry an egg, and that just seems to me to be a little bit too crazy. But
Yeah.
I don't worry about the androids coming and taking over, because if they do, they will. And
I actually have seen these science companies who build these robots and androids, and they actually show what you're talking about. It's a female android, and she has this clear belly, and inside her belly is obviously it's not at this point real, but it was the image of what a baby forming inside this android. I guess this, I guess
I don't understand how.
it probably serves two purposes. One, for the wealthy who don't want to go through the hassle of actually having 9 months of carrying a child inside, and they want the baby. They just don't want the work to do it. So you have that, and you have the other one where perhaps the mother is on deathbed and she's pregnant, and they can take the baby out and put it in this android. And this android is capable of carrying it to term.
I don't know.
We're living in a strange, unusual world, and we're starting to live in a world of Star Trek and so forth. And a lot of things that you saw on Star Trek are actually real today. I mean, remember, when it first came out, and then they had those like their med lab where you lay down on the bed, and it lights up all these different
med bed.
The med bed. And it lights up all these things and tells the doctor, what's wrong with this person. Well, they have that, they have the communicators and so forth. The only thing they haven't really successfully done yet is the transporter. And I know they're working on it. I know they'd be able to do some things, but not to the degree that they're doing. But
the transporter or the Star, I'm waiting for the Stargate.
Yeah, the Stargate. Yep. Well, they have. I saw where they have the engines now for warp drive. They created them. I guess now this Matt got to put that engine onto a ship that's capable of doing warp drive speed. We're getting there. You and I won't be part of that world, but maybe our great grandkids
part of that world. And the funny thing about the Stargate is they would tell me to start running, and you just start running, and then you go through it, and wherever you are is likely to be wherever you're going to be. And I don't want to be Land of the Lost, stuck with the stuck with the dinosaurs and have to do it from there. But I don't know. Maybe I will want to be there. I don't know.
The Land of the Lost.
I try not to see death as the final frontier, because you get reunited with all these people that you want to be reunited with, which means they're somewhere, or you hope you get reunited with all these people that you want to be reunited with.
All I know is I've seen a lot of videos where you have the hospice nurse, and she talks about their experiences. First off, respect goes out to the nurses and who tend to the person to the very end, because nurses normally go in, you're sick, you're injured, whatever, and they help heal you back to where you walk out the door. Well, a hospice nurse, that's not possible. You're going in there to pass away, and they're there just to help you ease into that next step of your life. And they've all shared the same experience, these nurses, as what they see. And it gives credence to the fact that they see their loved ones, whether it's imagined or real. To them, to the nurses, it's real. And they talk to the dead, in the room, waiting to take them home. And of course, if you don't believe, then you can't believe in the God, because in the sense of Jesus, it was all his whole reason for being is for us to die and eventually go be with him. So if you don't believe in life after death, then you're an atheist.
The only issue that I have in that whole discussion is I don't know if it's a prayer or a chant or just a line that was written in there. If you want to talk to my Father, you have to talk to me first. Because that could mean that if he doesn't want you to talk to his Father, you don't get approved. And that just leaves a standard in my mind that, we acknowledge that Jesus Christ was another person on the earth, and we acknowledge things that he did, and maybe he was sent here to be our Messiah as well as everybody else's. But we were told by God, there's no Messiahs, there's no anybody else. If you want what you want, you're mine. And we believed it. They threw away the golden calf, they threw away the other things that they worshipped, and they just worshipped God. And that would just tell me that Jesus, you don't make the rule.
I think,
or there's another door. Maybe there's another door to God, and we use that door, and we don't go through Jesus. I don't know, but I just don't like arguing that with people that you're getting in is based on someone who may not like you. So if he doesn't like you, then you don't get in.
I think the verse you're looking for goes something like this: for you to speak to my Father, you must go through me first. In other words, Daddy's too busy for the little people that you got to talk to his son. And if his son thinks you can talk to your Father, he'll let you go through. But but you have that whole 3 in 1 thing: God, Son, and the Holy Spirit. They're all one, So I guess if you speak to Jesus, you're actually speaking to his Father as well at the same time.
So then I ask you a question: was he really who he said he was? Or was he really just God manifesting as
a human,
as a human, and playing this role, Jesus Christ, because he was too afraid to say, "Hey, it's me. I'm here. Let's talk," and trying to humanize God, because I got kicked out of a Episcopalian Bible school week once because the teacher, who was a pastor or a father, whatever the Episcopalians call them, and I don't mean that out of disrespect, but wrote on a blackboard once, God created man in his own image, and then asked us what to fill the blank, continued the sentence. And I said, then God must have one pretty fucked up image of himself. And I met up with the pastor.
You did say that. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I did. But I met up with the father or pastor, whatever the title is, years later, who recognized me and said, "Aren't you the one who said now?" And then he said, "You understand why I got mad at you?" And I said, "Yes, because I used the F word someplace that I shouldn't have used the F word." I said, you didn't, I think you didn't question what I said, you just questioned how I said it." And we had a long conversation about that, and that's pretty much what it was. But
my parents,
you know,
claimed to have been Lutheran. Okay, but they were Lutheran in name only. I don't ever remember my parents ever stepping aside of the church. Uh, their closeness to church was to get my brother and me dressed up, in a suit, and then going to a church, dropping us off the door, and say, "We'll be back in an hour and a half for you. Have fun, guys." And that's how it went. So they, as far as my memory, they never stepped inside a church, but they claimed to be Lutheran. Now, towards the end, when they were older, okay, they attended for a short period of time, just long enough to get their name on the books, donate some money, and hey, when I die, you'll be here for me, right? Yeah, we'll be here, right? They went to a Lutheran church, and that church, and actually, my wife and I attended for a short period of time, was my experience the next thing to a Catholic church. Through all the things they did was like a Catholic church. And I said, well, this is not for me. Uh, but my parents were happy with it, and that's who they used for the eventual burials and so forth. And they must have donated about a shitload of money, because they got taken care of very well. But you know, uh, my take on the Bible is this. Some people say it's a great history book, but I think that obviously to a much larger degree, it's more than that. It's God's word given to these 12 disciples who interpret God's word, and they write it down. I think there's like 4 other books. Like I think your Bible, your Torah has. As soon as the Arch doesn't.
we have 5 books.
I would love to get my hands on, because some of them are very interesting, because they actually talk about things of like aliens and spacecraft and things that are interesting to me. And Dave froze, so I'm not sure if I'm still alive. I'll keep talking. But you know, is the Bible or the Torah, whatever, the actual written word of God? You have to believe it. But keep in mind, folks, these are human beings seeing images, seeing visions, so forth, and interpreting it in the way that only their mind at that time of history can interpret certain things. The biggest thing for me is that today we still have archaeology going on through all the Middle East, and they're always finding bits and pieces of cities, pottery, jewelry, weapons, and so forth. And they have written words, so forth, that reflect what's mentioned in the Bible, like the name of cities, the name of pharaohs, the name of kings, and so forth. Some even show the various tombs where people who are mentioned in the Bible are actually buried. You have to remember, back in the day when you say ground level 1, you build your town here. Okay, you got your town, you're the very first people there, and you get attacked and you lose the war. What's the first things that the winner does? He wipes out your history. And then he takes your shit and builds on top and makes their town. And then, of course, then they get wiped out. And so it continues. So the archaeologists, they're digging down. And each time you go to a different level, it's a different city, a different time frame. And like I said, the amazing thing about that is that these places, these names are mentioned in, my Holy Bible. And so to me, that gives me credence that the word is true. And I'll just keep talking since she hasn't come back yet. It's like, going back to the beginning of our show, our military is very important. Just like the police officers, the medical team, the firefighters, they're all a very big part of our uh, uh, what am I looking for? Big part of our lives. It's not the word I'm looking for, but there's another word. But uh, because without them, there'd be chaos. It's like the two National Guard folks who were shot, one died. Um, they were, before they showed up there, they were, you and me doing their normal everyday jobs. I'm not sure what, to be honest with you, I don't even know what their jobs were in the civilian life. I was in the reserves. I chose to go to reserves first before going active duty in case I didn't like it. So I had my job working. Uh, I was working at the New Holland. New Holland. Oh God, New Holland Food Supplies. No, it was an agribusiness that give supplies and so forth to the farmers. Uh, and they got pissed off when it was my weekend. Hey, I can't work this weekend. Oh, that's right. You got guard duty, don't you? Yeah, I got reserve duty. Well, have fun. We'll be here working. And they had to keep my job running, especially the 2 weeks. You do 2 weeks, active duty. Oof, they really didn't like that. But the law said you had to keep the job because you know what? Who was our first military? Our first military was the men and women who were just civilians. They realized that they had to protect their villages, their townships, their farms, their families. So they had their weapons, whatever it might be. Some actually had a black powder rifle, muzzle loader. Some had very long knives, and of course the farm utensils and so forth. And they would go.
Randy Rhodes being live because on my end we exploded. I thought it was because of something that I said, and it probably was, but we froze on my end, and which means that it was probably something through Restream that caused it. Cloudflare has reported outages with its Cloudflare service, and Restream uses a lot of that to get broadcasts on. But anyway, we're back, and I apologize for whatever happened. But anyway, we're back. What did you talk about amongst yourself while I was gone for that?
No, I was not alone. I was talking to the audience.
Okay.
I'm just saying that we celebrate Red Shirt Friday, but we should be all inclusive because of the importance of police officers, firefighters, the medical team, and so forth. And I said, and then I went back and said, if you realize, our very first military force was the man from the farm, from the market, and so forth. And they would go and they would train, and they'd be prepared for an Indian attack or eventually the war with England. And so the militia is essentially what our National Guard and reserves are. And they may not be 24/7 active duty, but they do train on a regular basis. Some who are really into it, train more often, and there are full-time reservists and so forth. But when the time comes, they are up to the task. It's not like they have to be retrained to go into combat. They're ready to boom. I often said that the National Guard and Reserves are the first people on the front line because they don't. We are.
The people that are there.
Yeah.
When that ship crashes in Swamplands, Nevada, it's gonna be the people that hear the siren or whatever that grab whatever they need and defend us. That's good. It's gonna be interesting because where you think everybody goes out and creates the end to everybody, I think people are going to open up. I mean, I think there is going to be some, the Somalis in Minnesota. I guess that is going to be a problem. I shouldn't laugh, but it's a problem that needs to be dealt with because there's like $7 billion that has been accused of being siphoned, and these people have, I guess, a right to explain whether or not they did or not, and be removed accordingly. Ilhan Omar will probably face being removed at the end of this current term. No, well, I guess she will, for the same reason that Ted Cruz on our side could face being removed because or not being allowed to run again because Ted was born in Canada. So he cannot continue. So I guess unless everybody sits down and Ted says to Ilhan, if I remove you, then I remove myself. So if you remove me, you remove yourself. And I think they're going about the whole thing the wrong way because, granted, yes, they're looking for the people that shouldn't be there, but they're not looking for the people who are of a foreign descent, who left that foreign descent to come and be an American. And there are people out there, and there are people that are here for that reason. So everybody needs to stop thinking about impeaching everybody and looking for the ones that don't belong and simply remove them. Stop using Adam's word of impeachment for everybody. The Democrats won round one, as I call it. James Comey and Letitia James cases were dismissed because they don't believe that Lindsay Halligan, the prosecutor, was appropriately hired by the Justice Department. Don't want to hear it anymore. Put a new person in there that was hired appropriately and try the case again. And if we lose, then I guess we lose. But according to what I've read and heard, we have a mountain of evidence in both cases to convict both of them. But go ahead, Randy, it's your turn.
You have you are so
I am
hooked on the thought that these people are actually going to go to trial.
Well,
I don't see it. They are too powerful. They know far too much to hurt other people. And look at everything. Every time that poor old Trump tries to do, it gets held up in court. He has to fight the damn thing, and just to get it done. In some cases, he loses. Some cases, he wins. But I don't think. I think that the Muslim lady, I think she's going to stay in. I think AOC is going to be a front runner for presidency, and I think she might even freaking win because
I don't think she'll win. I think she has a better chance. Me personally, I think she has a better chance of running for Chuck Schumer's seat and becoming a senator than she does being elected president. I just don't think she has enough together because of her age and her experience to move from the House right to the presidency. And maybe I'm wrong. The people that vote and vote legally are going to make the decision because Republicans may vote for her and Democrats may not. But, I'm just saying that I don't see AOC being a president because I think there are other people on both sides that stand through experience of getting elected. J.D. Vance is a military officer, and he stands, if you follow like Eisenhower and things, he may not be as great as Eisenhower, but, he's got that experience. He brings that experience. He worked with Trump. He's learned the Trump experience. I just don't see AOC as presidential material, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
You know, our biggest problem, and I'm talking about conservative Republicans, our biggest problem is that once we see our guy get elected, we sit back and we take it easy. Ah, I did my job. He's in the White House. And every other election after that, who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
And the sad thing,
but hang on. And that's why these Muslims and these socialists are getting into politics because, they're smart. They start off at the lower rung of the ladder. They get in as dog catcher. Next thing you know, they're possibly a postmaster or whatever. They work up to being a mayor, and then they start because all God we have is social.
But AOC doesn't have that. There's nothing in her record other than working with those people that might elevate her to those positions. I'm not saying that she can't do the job. I just don't see her getting elected to do the job. I just see too many people in the way. And like I said earlier, the Born in America bill to me is really BS because they're not looking at who was born somewhere else, came to America, why they came to America, and why they belong where they are, as opposed to someone who was born somewhere else, came here, is still united to somewhere else and not united to us, and has a lot of explaining to do. Did she marry her brother? Because
we know she did.
Well, we know she did, supposedly, but then again, they respond with, I didn't marry my brother, but I married someone who has the same name. Okay? There's a lot of explaining to do on both sides because some people believe you don't marry your brother. Some Americans believe you don't marry your brother. And that, that could cost her an election. But
I saw to go along with what you're saying. I saw this really cute video, and it was okay. Cute. It wasn't meant to be real, but there's a guy and a girl and adults, and you tell they're Southern. They're down south somewhere, some very Southern state, and they're arguing back and forth. And the man says to the woman, "Go ahead, you can divorce me, but we're still brother and sister."
Yep. The only thing I want to bring up, the only other thing I want to bring up is William Lockett has joined us. David Novar has joined us. To William, I just want to make it whatever. That we're on free restream right now, and it appears that on free restream, I get 2 people can be on at a time. So me and Randy would be like the 2 people. We can try. Randy can send you a link. And sometimes if you come in through Randy's channel, you sneak in the back door and you get in. I think we're going to eliminate all of that stuff probably the middle of next month and put ourselves on back on my paid restream subscription so that we don't actually have to worry about that stuff. And there's some other technical stuff that we have to work in.
So I need
to work into restream.
I sent an invite to William Lockett. Who else do you want me to send the link to?
Yeah, send the link to William Lockett. And don't send the link to David Novar because he's not ready to join us today. But one of these days, I swear, even if he puts a black box in front of his face, I told him, if he doesn't want his face to be seen, because the man is so knowledgeable, I just want to bring him on and pick his brain. I really would love to pick his brain, and I bet that we will probably spend the rest of our lives walking through my Dell laptop and making sure that it's not the problem as to why we go frozen and go up. What happened was it just froze, and I couldn't I couldn't do anything. So I hope that, like you did, that you carried on until I figured out how to get back.
Well,
Longer than it should have, but it finally went through. So I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
I saw the sign was still saying live, so I figured, I'll keep talking. Eventually, you'll either
everything was left straight going, but for some reason I lost my connection to Restream, and it took me a couple of minutes to reconnect. So I don't know if it was the Cloudflare situation, which I'm starting to wonder if it was man-made more than anything else. But William, if you're allowed to use that link that Randy sent you and come in through the back door, you're welcome. If not, like I said, we'll be back probably middle to end of January on paid Restream and get our 6 people back.
Yeah, I use EV Mux, and I love EV Mux simply for the fact that it's the only of the streaming services I've used in the past. It's the very first one that doesn't charge me extra for having a high def camera.
Yep.
I actually had boosted my package up when I hit the panel number hit 12.
Yeah.
Thinking that I needed the upper package, but actually I didn't. I mean, it gave me access to use a second camera and some other nice things. But you know what? Since it says I can use 12 p, and also allows me to have 4 destinations as opposed to only 2.
William is here. William is here.
There he is.
William is here. All right. Well, we learned other things this morning. Look at the cat
drug in.
Morning. Right. We learned other things with another technical advisor that walked me through what I affectionately call Boogie Global, which involves putting the link on from YouTube everywhere that we want. And it would, in fact, allow most places, most networks to piggyback YouTube through a reconnect, which would give everybody access to YouTube live chat. It's an interesting idea, and I do want to look at it. I know the people on Facebook might lose us monitoring them, so I have to work that into it and see how it works, because we would be monitoring YouTube and through the.
Look, folks, we have a new gen.
Anyway, we have William Lockett with us. And what do you think, William?
Streaming services and all. Yeah, I don't know. I use I like OBS myself because you can cut the hell out of it, but it's really tricky to get it to connect to everything.
Yeah, I love what I saw, and I know everybody is anti-AI. I had an AI helping me. And every time I had to add to OBS what the AI told me to, I got terrible BSODs, blue screen of death messages, until it finally crashed. And my good friend David Novar helped put it all back together. And then we prayed that it would work. And because it did, before I dumped coffee all over it. That was different. That was my Windows 10 laptop.
Right.
I had gone to Restream and just said, this is where we are. Plus, everybody has to be kind of where you are and be happy with where you are and quote unquote, be a brand ambassador of where you are. So,
if I had to say anything bad about EV Mux, it is their support system. I'm the kind of guy that needs immediate response. So if I'm having a problem, I want to be able to speak to a person that can help me right away.
Right.
They have this whole, chat box. You type in, you go into the chat box, and how can we help you? And you make the choice, and you type in what's wrong.
And then they can't help you anyway.
Anyway, let's talk about whatever we were talking about. like William said, he doesn't have time to sweat this stuff.
So let William talk for a while.
Oh, okay. Well, not a whole lot of stuff going on up here. There's something they're talking about putting in a sales tax to do something. It's supposed to be generating something like $2 or $3 billion over the course of summers up here through tourism.
Yep.
So I don't know. That might be cool, but I'm never really a big fan of additional taxes, especially since usually the tax money never goes to what we want it to anyway.
This is true. And Trump talks about the end of the middle class and closing the IRS. And I don't know if it will ever happen. I guess it would lead to some kind of sales tax on something. So buy everything you need now if you don't want to pay more taxes. Because,
right.
I'm lucky in the sense, I guess, that this income is not state taxable and that income is not federal taxable. So, I don't hit that. And I'm not a property owner, so, I'm sure it's included in my rent, but I'm not a property owner. So,
right.
I don't really know what is right is right is right.
There's that.
I just like coming on and drinking coffee with my friends and having fun when I don't freeze. And then, I'm watching my show on one monitor while I'm yelling at this computer, "Why aren't you connected?"
Uh-oh. I got a lot of my connection keeps dropping really bad. Like I got some lag going on.
They said that Cloudflare is actually experiencing Cloudflare problems. Cloudflare is actually a problem. Cloudflare is actually a problem. And a company called Cloudflare deals with it and is the best in dealing with it. But it's one of those things that everybody uses it in some way, and that's the problem. So Restream, which uses a lot of applications that use it, if it goes down, they go down. I go down, but I'm sure everywhere else goes down too. So, I don't really know. Like I said, I just like drinking coffee and having a good time with my friends, and that's it.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, like I said at the beginning, we were going to do Michael Anthony for as much of the hour as he wanted to use, because Pittsburgh, I don't know if it's just him, but Pittsburgh appears to not be getting water that they paid for, and they closed his case. So he can't. I guess he has to open another case and go forward. And I was looking forward to hearing the details, and a Senator Fetterman group that I just happened to stumble upon. I wanted to read and hear what his views might be on.
I know how Michael feels about Democrats and so forth, but I think Fetterman might be or at least his office might be a good resource to reach out and say, hey, this guy is in your district or whatever, and he is in need of help.
I think Michael actually knows him. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, that's cool.
I believe that Michael actually knows him. How well, I can't tell you. Michael would have to speak to that. But I sent out an invitation this morning saying, I'd love to have a round table of Senator Fetterman and people in the Pittsburgh area that might be experiencing the same thing. But again, I'm nobody on the internet. So, I don't know if that stone will be turned or not.
It's just, I can see if he and it's not I remember seeing a video he did before. I showed the 2 videos last night on my broadcast, but I think he had one before that where it's just not his house, it's the whole damn street affected by this water problem.
And he's done some fabulous interviews just in general. There was one that started this whole series off that was him and him talking about an older man that lives on the street and showing and talking about it that made me want to bring the old man aboard if I could. But, if all this gets out, William Lockett's going to become a big celebrity on Rumble because you can't bring it on Facebook.
Well, actually, I forgot to do it last night. One of my followers, his name is Brad Bowden. He's a certified plumber, and he saw the video that I shared on your show, Dave, and he's really upset. He said that shouldn't be, and he has a couple of suggestions. So I'm going to reach out to Michael to see if he might want to talk to Greg and see if Greg might be able to help him out. Because Greg lives in Ohio, so he's not too far away, to make a trek to Pennsylvania.
That, and even if people just want to come together as one and talk ideas and suggestions for other people, it's easy to say that's what I want to do, but the reality is if I say I want to do it, someone who's bigger than me is going to hear that idea, I'm sure, and jump and do it. And it may not be the same as if I actually did it myself because I'm not that big person. That's the thing I like about Facebook, that, the numbers that I actually see aren't great. They're good. They're not great, but, because then it would go to my head and all you'd see was my head because my head would swell and think that I'm that great that I should get paid. And, I don't want to get paid. I always tell people I don't want to get paid because the people that pay me then think they have a right to tell me what I can say and what I can't. And
it's like signing a contract, once you are getting paid for something, then you have expectations placed on you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd love to make $174,000 a year, regardless of how it affects me with SSDI, but
if you're making 6 figures a year, you wouldn't need disability.
I wouldn't. But the funny thing about it is, I guess if you research it close enough, they wean you off of it for 5 years. It takes 5 years to wean you off of it, and if you don't think you're going to be weaned off of it, you can ask to go back, and I guess they let you come back.
That's crazy.
So it's just like, why don't you just write me a check for all of my money that you have, plus all of the interest that you have made to date, and let me
ship it.
Let me hand it to people I know and I trust to run it for me. Plus, I hate worrying about money anyway. I mean, when I had the limousine business, I used to give the girl on Friday a stack of bills and say, you pay them. Just make sure they get paid. And my own bills were in that stack. The same thing with my wife, Donna. I can say, we got to pay this, we got to pay this, we got to pay that. And that's what work is today, going out and making the money to pay those bills. But you know what? I don't care.
Yep.
I just, like I said, want to sit here and drink coffee with my friends and have a good time. And
you're just afraid to see those bills and see how much money you're going out the door.
Well, in some cases it's not, but in some cases it's not always as bad as you think.
All my bills are automatically paid. They come out of my checking account every month. My only concern is making sure that, we have a tendency, my family, I hate to admit it, that we buy a shitload off Amazon. And I have a checkbook, and I used to be diligent and writing down the credits and debits and so forth. But at the end of the day, I've stopped doing it, and I should probably pick up the habit again. Because our biggest problem is, my wife and I have, disability checks, goes into the all my that gets deposited, and all the major bills except for my rent. I got he for some reason he won't set up electronic transfer, so I got to send him a check every month. So as long as the money's there to get all the automatics, I'm happy. And we get carried away, and we start buying shit off Amazon, and before I'm the keeper of the Amazon. Oh shit! Okay, stop spending, guys. We're down to
whoops.
Whoa. The biggest problem with Amazon is that they don't take the money when you click buy.
Nope.
They take the money when they
take it when it ships.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my dollar amount. Oh shit! I got $500 to spend. Oh yeah, let's do it.
Nope.
No, I mean I can deal with all of that. It's just that what happens then is that Amazon will start charging me for. I'm just using them as an example for coat hangers, and help themselves to my account because they have an automatic payment plan with me. And then someone else will do that. And then it's looking at my account and realizing what's actually there. I just don't, and I use them as an example. But in the past, people have helped themselves to my account ahead of time that they were supposed to. And when I needed to pay them, the money wasn't there. And, I just don't.
I will say this. I love my bank. I would never change my bank. I use S&T Bank, okay? And there are the bank has people who are assigned to the accounts, right? So I have these two ladies who are my people, right? They take care of my account. And they know that every month I have a rent check that goes out for $1,540. There are some times where that money might not be there. They will actually honor that check up to $250 overdrawn because they know that rent is very important.
Right.
Also, if they see a charge that does not look right, they'll actually call me before they release the money. Say, Randy, did you buy this? Right? Oh, I didn't buy that. Okay, so your challenge is yes, I'm challenging.
That stuff I understand, but giving a bank can do that, but a vendor doesn't have that right to jump in and start micromanaging my finances so that they get theirs. Stay on the list and get paid as best as I can do it, or turn me off and still get paid as best as I can do it. But I don't know. And then you keep hearing about all these get a cash grant from the government to pay off your credit cards or whatever else you owe, and you start wondering how much of those things are actually legit. And everybody wants to help everybody who's like $10,000 in debt, but nobody wants to help people that are like $5,000 in debt. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I had to fix my own.
William doesn't have to worry about it because he's independently wealthy anyway.
Right. I wish that would be great. No, I went through and I eliminated a lot of my bills.
Yeah.
I like if I have a streaming service, I'll go through there and be like, okay, well, I really haven't watched a movie in a month and a half. Why would I have the service? If I'm not paying for it or it's not generating money, then I'll get rid of it. And I've managed to whittle down my bills so much that I can survive on, only working 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. I mean, I took care of rent for 5 years. We still have 3 years left of that, so I don't have rent to pay. Our propane bill I thought was going to be $500, wound up only being $260.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Cell phone bill, basics, fuel, food. But I freaking hate Wells Fargo because they'll do something and they'll say it processes at a different time. Like I had the PFD come in this year. It gave me $1,000 in the bank. Cassandra's PFD came in, another $1,000 in the bank. And then we're like, all right, now we can get all the stuff we've been wanting all year. And so I got my PlayStation and she got some stuff and we got some bills paid. And all of a sudden I look at the bank and the bank statement said that I hadn't even received that money until the day after they said I got it. and then I put myself $786 in the hole, evidently, before that came through somehow, because they let me. The statement said that I had processed a transaction that was withdrawing $400 from an account that didn't have any money in it, and then spending another $500 on that same account before there was any money in it. I'm like, that's not possible, guys. You can't fucking do that. So the timeline of their transactions is completely inaccurate. So I keep my interactions with them to a very small minimum.
Well, if the money wasn't there, how were you able to buy the stuff that you bought?
Exactly. Well, that's what I asked the bank manager.
What happened to me was the opposite.
It just processed differently, and at a different time the company came in, and we can only designate those funds. We can't actually say when it processes. And I'm like, so you're holding my money, but you don't know how to handle my money. Okay.
Well, what happened to me was the opposite. We used our card in a Walmart in Connecticut 5 minutes before my account was hit, and the hitter actually created the problem because the hitter's purchase didn't get approved because there was no money. Because I had gone and spent, what we needed to buy. Money to me is just a means to.
It's a tool, dude.
Yeah,
money
it's
is
just a tool, and I guess you have to play their game if you want to have.
If you want a lot of it,
I so much wish. And I've always said it, that we could just go back to barter.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's something I can do for you, but the only problem is then the IRS says, well, if you pay barter, then you have to do something for us.
Right.
I don't want to do anything for the IRS. Or I need that truckload of cow dung for my plants. I can't send you any. So I don't know. Anyway, gentlemen, where are we? We're at an hour.
Oh shit!
12 minutes.
Hour 12.
Randy usually has to go.
You owe me overtime.
Okay. All right. The check's in the mail.
I won't be in a rush to cash that check.
Right.
Okay.
So,
all right, Randy.
Wait, before I jump off, you said that your rent's paid 5 months in advance. How's that happen?
Years.
5
years.
Your rent is paid 5 years in advance.
How you do that?
Yes.
I want to hear how you do
I took $45,000 and gave it to my buddy and said, let's build a tiny house. And he's like, okay, let's do it.
That's right. You're that tiny house thing.
Yeah. So as a way of repaying me for the investment in his property, he is giving me 5 years of free rent.
Oh,
wow. So I've seen them. I heard them. Now, you built it yourself, or is that when you bought off a Sears catalog and it got delivered to you on a truck?
Totally custom. From the ground up. We didn't even use a template. We came up with the design, and then I found one I kind of liked, and we were going to go with it, but it was just one story, and I'm like, dude, we can go 2 stories and make it perfect.
Yeah.
And that was within the budget, so we just pulled the trigger on it. But yeah, we had the shell built, so the studs and everything, and then the exterior was done by them, or the construction company. The basement, we had a plumber come in and do the plumbing. We had an electrician come in and do the electrical because we want insurance for that. So if there's anything wrong, we're not liable. But everything else we did the insulation, we did the mudding, the taping, the drywall, the painting, the texturing, the finish work, the flooring, all that.
That's cool. I actually saw, I guess because of my searches I do, I get these videos of, especially this one guy. I don't know where the hell he lives. He lives out in the boonies, some godforsaken place where, but he'll go and he lives off the grid, and he's showing you just how easy it is to, if it's just you and a female, to go in and start digging in the ground and show. And of course, it's time lapsed video. But he builds this like 2-room under the ground, and he has his chimney stack, and he has his little bed and so forth.
Totally doable.
Yeah, like if you have the skills to do it, you can live off the grid for the rest of your life and actually live a decent, comfortable life.
Pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
living.
So with that, I have no plans on ever doing that. I like my roof over my head. If I can only get my wife, my daughter in sync with the damn heat.
I know your daughter has to change for a political party. You do that.
Yeah, well, Now, I'll be dead and buried in dust before that would even happen.
Is your wife one of us already?
Well, she's halfway there to being a liberal, but you know, I'll wake up. And the house is freezing cold. I go downstairs. The temp's at 63 degrees, so I turn up like 69. It takes like 10 o'clock at night to get up to 68 degrees, and by that time I'm in bed underneath 5 blankets. And you know, right, like here in my office, I'm freezing my ass off. But if I turn the heat on, then it's too hot down here. So, well, you know, who's bringing?
Get you the propane system.
Who's bringing in the money?
Of course.
With that, I gotta jump off here, guys.
You gotta go.
I got clients to take care of, but it was great. And having my own shoulder for like 5 minutes was pretty cool. See you, William.
It was nice hanging out.
Yeah, take care.
All right.
Yeah, we'll catch you
Hey,
later.
if you ever want to come on to my Southern Live broadcast, as long as you don't say anything Yankee, I'll bring you on, okay?
Oh, I can't guarantee that. I don't know. I try to be as little Yankee as possible.
No, but you know what? I jest with that, but you know, I don't. I should say, as long as the person's respectful. I don't care, you know, Yankee or not Yankee, as long as the conversation doesn't go too far, you know, over when we start yelling at each other. But Tuesdays for sure at 7:00 p.m. If you want to, I'd send you out a link, and it's just essentially everything that's about the South and so forth.
You know that you can't send me a link.
Yeah.
Because well, no, because there's 12 people on, and there's 12 people always talk, or 11 other people always talking. So I have to cut each one of them off.
That's my job.
To answer all of them.
You know, they know that, you know, when I get my first broadcast was supposed to be 12, it was down to 7 because they had other plans.
That's even bad.
So I did was I split the group into 2 live broadcasts, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But the one where I had 7, you know, I told them before in the green room that, you know, you each get 15 minutes. And when you're not talking, mute your damn microphones because, you know, everyone has their background noises. And so it's been very respectful. My last broadcast with the group, I'm at over 200 people who saw it so far. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
My group page, United Fireworkers, this is no lie, guys. It went from 24 at 10 p.m. and within 24 hours, I'm at 200. And it's growing.
There's a late night crowd that will watch a lot.
So I got no problem. You guys want to be on? I'll send you the link. You know, it's just the conversation will be about things to Southern and so forth. And but you know, as long as you're respectful, you know, and there are some things going on in the South that is going to start to emerge over the next couple of years. So be aware. We will rise again. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay, Randy, always a pleasure. I want to read this to Randy. I actually flash it on the screen because I think it's pretty funny.
There we go.
Randy, if you're cold, just ask Santa for some electric underwear for Christmas. Now, could you imagine being in bed when your electric underwear short circuits?
Yeah, I could, and that would be horrible.
I would not want you doing that. But William, what do you got? What's your final act of
final thoughts for the day? I am getting back into video editing because there is actually, oh my God, heated underwear. I had no idea that was a thing. Cool. Now that I know that, use this bit of information.
Well, there's heated gloves.
Yeah, I'm getting.
There's heated gloves, so there has to be.
Getting back into my whole streaming thing. So, just despite the fact that I'm having a hell of a time with my internet connection, I might have to bump my package up with Starlink some.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, everything's going good.
Good.
We got some stuff coming down the pipeline. I got some stuff I'm going to be dropping on Facebook and YouTube today. I got a couple CDs I want to put music videos or put videos to for gaming, so I can throw those out there.
Good.
This, that, and the other. Yeah.
Good.
But
well,
yeah, it was wonderful to come on, Dave. Thank you for having me on.
no, this works. Come on anytime. It just seems that we had a period where I had to go to free restream, and
yeah, it was just hit and miss.
They left me where I was and what I could do, I guess, and then they changed it to free restream. And like I said, we'll probably get it back the middle of next month, the middle to the end of next month. Yeah,
cool. Way cool.
You always find the little stuff that you need, but you got to pay for the need.
Right. And it's like, oh, this does this, and this is over here. And
you got to pay somebody.
I know how that goes.
Yeah, you got to pay somebody. All right,
boss man.
All right, thank you.
Take it easy.
Always a pleasure. Hey, you want to do it or you want me to do it? William did it. All right, William Rocket, who you see on Rumble, you see on Facebook, and Randy Rhodes, my sidekick extraordinaire, which you see on Facebook, all over Facebook. You see him off of Facebook. And if you don't see him off of Facebook where you are on the internet, let me know, and I'll try to make sure we get it there, because that's where I'm shifting to, trying to take a lot of stuff and sharing it off of Facebook, because as I have said before, don't make Facebook the beginning and end of your social media. You know, there are a lot of things we can do if you have YouTube that you would be amazed that you can do. And Dave Novar is always welcome to take a walk through my computer and optimize everything. And I apologize for him not doing it, because there always seems to be something to do with it. And the only thing I wish it could do that it doesn't do is on the group end on Facebook, and it will only do 1-by-1 sharing. And I guess that's the way Windows was written. So I don't know if it's a Facebook problem or a Microsoft problem or both. When you share to a group on a Windows machine, you can only share to one group at a time. So if you have 15 groups and you send to 15 more, it takes a long time on a Windows machine to send it to the 25 groups or 30 groups. If you have an Android device nearby, you can do it in groups of 10 or groups of more. I don't know. We started out, we were able to send to 150 groups. It got cut to 50 groups. Then it got cut to 13 groups. Then it got cut to 10 groups, and they kind of left it there at 10 groups. So, as I've said, the easiest thing to do in some cases is to just use an Android phone or tablet and send it out at 10 groups at a time, because that's all they allow me to do. You know, I don't know. YouTube, Google, they haven't bothered me for taking the link and sending it anywhere I want, because I'm sure they're making money off of it. So that's what we do. Anyway, it's 11:11, and I want to wish you all a fantastic Friday. If you are in the Jacksonville area of Park Street, you are welcome to come by the, for lack of putting it better, vendor fair tomorrow, which will be on Park Street, across the street from Cultivate. And Donna Jean Creations and Willow's Craft Corner, our daughter-in-law, will have stuff there, crocheted items, fantastic stuff. You have to come and take a look. It's so fantastic that you just have to come and take a look, or go to the Family Treasures Facebook page. You'll see I call it checkerboard chicken is the logo picture. Go look there. Then go take a look at, like I said, Willow's Craft Corner and Donna Jean Creations, and look around and see what will be there, and come and buy it. The only thing I can do real fast is I can grab Cupcake the Eagle to give you a quick idea of what they do. But they do a lot of fantastic stuff. Dragons and dogs of all kinds, and unicorns, and everything you can think of. And if you think of something that you want and they don't actually have it there on the table in front of you, they will do a custom order. I believe for custom orders, you have to pay first. So, deal with that. Or they'll work something else out with you. Maybe, I don't know. I don't get much involved. I will be there with my wife, Donna, tomorrow. And just getting in the way as much as possible and helping the rest of the time. So if you're in the area, please come by and take a look. The rule for tomorrow is we can't talk politics unless you buy something. And then we have to leave to go talk politics. But anyway, just like the Thanksgiving rule was always, grandmother said, you can't talk politics at the table unless someone else brings it up first. And then grandfather wrote his own rule. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong. Same kind of thing. We just move it away from the vendor fair tables. Or maybe I'll open my own vendor fair. We'll just sit there and drink coffee and talk about politics. It works. You can't get into the table unless paid. I guess. I don't know. I don't really want to do that anyway. Just wickedly too confusing. Between the Androids and the Dell and my phone and this and that, I'm going to leave you with one final thought. Please, if you call me and I don't answer the phone and it goes to voicemail and you don't leave a message, don't call me back, because I'm going to block that number because you didn't leave a message and wait for you to call back and block that one unless you leave a message. Okay? It's that simple. If you have something to say and you called me, then you might as well leave a message, because sometimes I turn the volume off and forget to turn it on. And I'm an old man who has the best bipolar disorder you can have. I have both, and I have Lewy body dementia, and I have Parkinson's, and I have macular edema, and this and that and the other thing. So anytime you want to do a health-related Boogie with the Bull, if you're a doctor that deals with any of that, you're welcome to be on. If you're a person that has that afflictions, you're welcome to be on. And if you're a person that takes care of a person that has those afflictions, you're welcome to join us too. I've been saying that for probably 4 years now, 5 years now, almost 6 years that I want to do that broadcast. So let's make it happen. Also, let's make that Senator John Fetterman broadcast happen. The invitation went out today that if you're in the Pittsburgh area, let's do a round table and make it work. And if the senator can't join us, let's do a round table anyway and then send it to the senator, for all I care. Let's just get the word out on everything to everybody and let it be taken care of from there. Sometimes that's the best that some of us can do. I just sit here and drive the laptop and hope that we do it. We give you Boogie with the Bull Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. We give you Boogie with the Bull uncensored Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m., provided that we have a reason to do it. And sometimes we give you selected Saturdays at 10 a.m. When we can do it, whether or not we have a reason for doing it. We want to thank the folks over at StreetLock, StreetLock.com, StreetLock.com. We are sending lives and we are sending podcasts over there right now and awaiting further instructions from them if we do something that needs to give us further instructions. Trying to build that. We're going around the internet and looking to see where we fit, where other people fit. And if you want some help, I want to give you the help. Okay? I don't want to charge you. Okay? Live the life where, I had a chance to get paid for it, but I don't have an MBA. So if you don't need an MBA and just need somebody to do it, I'm your guy because I want to do it. Ask me and we will work you into the schedules that we do it. If you're on later than 10 o'clock Eastern time at night, your things will get shared the next day and be one day behind. That's just the way it has to work. If you can't deal with that, then I can't help it. Anyway, have a fantastic weekend. Okay? Have a fantastic Friday. And we will see you Monday morning for Monday Morning Caffeine here on Boogie with the Bull. Anyway, we're going to slide down here and hit that one. Double V's for victory. We have come to an end. We went a little bit over our hour that everybody likes to do. Our